Hi, everyone. This is Georgette. I'm with the Scorecard Subcommittee. We wanted to take a few minutes just to walk through the scorecard, make sure everyone knows how to use it for Advocacy Day. Also, just wanted to introduce my fellow committee members. I've been working on the Congressional Scorecard for the past 3 years, but we've had an awesome team. All of us have, connections to the infertility community that have worked into making the 2023 version of the scorecard. I'm an IVF mom and excited to be advocating again this year. So before we get into the scorecard, I'm going to toss it to Andrea for a quick intro.
Hi, I'm Andrea Sprocket. This is my second year working on the scorecard, and my connection to infertility is I'm an IVF mom of two.
Awesome. Amanda?
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda Chaiko. This is my first year with the Scorecard Committee and for Advocacy Day. And my connection to infertility is coming up on 3 years, still trying for that rainbow baby.
Jess?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica Cohen-Taubman. This is my first Advocacy Day, my first time with the Scorecard Subcommittee, and my connection to the infertility community is that I am also an IVF mom of two.
Awesome. And we just wanted to also recognize our colleague, Brittany Green, who couldn't join us tonight. Brittany's worked really hard on the scorecard. I believe it's her first Advocacy Day as well. And she is also just graduated from her fertility clinic, so we're really excited for her. So with that, I think we're ready to get started.
So as I've been telling everybody that I'm on the Scorecard Committee for Advocacy Day, their biggest question is, what is the scorecard? And it's not an easy question to answer. So what is it?
The scorecard is a wealth of information over 3 Congresses about participation in Advocacy Day and about issues that are important to resolve. It contains basic information about each congressperson, their district that they represent, their party, their service in Congress, the next year that they'll be elected, previous participation in Advocacy Day, as well as their membership in various committees, caucuses, and support for legislation or resolutions that Resolve has prioritized.
And how can we use the scorecard to help us prepare for Advocacy Day?
Great. So we designed the scorecard to be a tool for advocates to use in their prep meetings with their state delegations. If you look at the script for Advocacy Day, we recommend including some talking points in your introduction and in your sort of facts about infertility in your state section. And you can find all of that information right here on the scorecard. You can find out if the member whose office or whose staff you're meeting with is a sponsor, of a bill in the past that Resolve has supported. You can thank them for their support, ask them, to consider signing on again in the future as that bill is hopefully reintroduced in the 118th Congress. You can also sort of work it into your asks for the meeting. We have talking points in this year's script about removing barriers to family building, for example, for military service members and their families. If you can look at the scorecard, you can see that somebody serves on the House or the Senate Armed Services Committee. That's a really nice sort of thing to work into your talking points and say, as a member of the Armed Services Committee, we're really hoping that Congressperson X or Senator Y would be willing to support us on these issues this year. There's also caucuses that focus on a lot of these issues. If a member is, a member of a caucus, for example, let's say the Black Maternal Health Caucus, it generally indicates that they have an interest and are likely to be active on these issues. You can also ask in a meeting, is, a member of this caucus, can we count on Congresswoman or Senator so-and-so to help raise visibility for these issues? And I think it also makes us sound really smart when we're meeting with congressional staff to have this background knowledge. And it oftentimes makes offices more inclined to help.
I know you touched on a lot of these points, but is there any other additional information that you want to describe that's within the scorecard? And let us know how we can use that in our meetings to be effective getting our messaging across.
I think one thing that Andrea pointed out and something that's really cool about the scorecard this year is that it now tracks data across 3 different Congresses. So one, oftentimes you will see legislation from previous Congresses reintroduced. It's really helpful to say to a staff or a member, you know, hey, you or your boss has signed on to this bill for the past 2 Congresses. Can we expect the congressperson's support again this year? I think that that can be really helpful. It also kind of is a little bit like doing the staffers' homework for them, lets them know their boss has been supportive. I think the other thing that's really great that we've added to the scorecard this year is we've flagged all of the new members who are in Congress for the first time or in their current positions for the first time this year. A lot of times we will have a new member who comes to Congress. They're trying to figure out what issues they want to emerge as a leader or a champion on. And I think that there's a lot of power with our personal stories to convince them that these are issues that we should really encourage them to focus on. And that's something that I think we especially want to think about with new member offices who advocates will be meeting with on Advocacy Day. The other thing, and this is kind of a new thing we're focused on this year, is the party affiliation. One thing our committee has been talking a lot about is that all of the bills that are tracked on the scorecard were previously introduced with only Democratic sponsors. We are in a new Congress this year, and we are hopeful that many of those bills will be reintroduced. But a lot of those Democratic sponsors want to see them introduced with a Republican co-sponsor. And so I think that as we're meeting with Republican offices especially, there's a real opportunity there to make that ask that they consider being a supporter of these bills from the very beginning once they're introduced.
This is so cool, but it's so much information. How can I filter it or find information just for my state or what's relevant to me?
It's a great question because it is a lot of information. There's a lot of columns, there's a lot of rows, there's a lot to find. The scorecard, when you download it from the Resolve website, is preset for the 118th Congress. So what you're going to see is only those who are actively serving in the 118th Congress. You're also only going to see the last year of participation, 2022, in Advocacy Day, and whether there has been their committees, their caucuses, and co-sponsorship of legislation in the 118th. But if you want to dig deeper to dig into some of the information that Georgette was describing, to thank members of Congress who have a track record, you can first of all start by clicking on these plus buttons up here at the top of the columns to expand and see additional information. If you want to reduce it, click the minus. That will give you additional longitudinal information on the Congresses. There's also ways that you can filter. All of these little triangles here are what are called filters. So if you want to see, for example, information only for the Republicans, you can deselect, so you've only checked Republican Party, and then click Apply the Filter. Then if you wanted to dive down and see only Republicans who are new members of Congress, you could go farther. Remember that any filters that you apply are going to apply in the order that you have. So if you've sorted down for only Republican members, then the next filter that you're using is looking at only Republican members who are new members of Congress. So it's not going to show you the Democrats as well. So just remember that the order of filters that you use matters. When you want to clear the filters, you can either go back into the filters that you've selected, such as party, and click clear filter, or you can go up to your data and select clear for all of the filters up here. That'll help you drill down, and we've suggested in our filtering instructions a few different filters that you might find particularly helpful. One of them is going to be for your state. So if you select your state and you want to see just your state, the first thing you can do is deselect select all so that you're not clicking through each individual state and taking it off. And then perhaps you want to see all of the Congress people in Michigan. You can apply this filter here. Sorry, I've also got new member on, so let me take that off. Now you can see all of the Congress people serving in Michigan, and then you can follow their track record. Remember that you can expand up here to see their background, their length of service in Congress, their support for bills in previous Congresses, and to learn more about which committees and caucuses they're serving on.
Thanks, Andrea. That was super helpful. And I think we realized there's probably advocates, state captains who are watching this video who are still a little confused by Excel. We have a bunch of other resources that will be posted on the Advocacy Day website to help you with the scorecard. There is, as Andrea alluded to, a whole set of filtering instructions to sort of walk you through this, suggest some helpful filters you might want to apply as you prep for your meetings. There is a guide, so if there's terms in any of the columns on the scorecard, or you want to know more about the bills that are listed on the scorecard, all of those descriptions are included in the guide as well. Two other useful tools that will be posted soon. One is these data visualizations. So if staring at things in an Excel spreadsheet isn't exactly meaningful to you as it is to folks on our subcommittee, you can kind of get these quick snapshots of what the data kind of represents. And I think that there will be some interesting visuals this year to show really the opportunities for our impact on Advocacy Day. The other thing that is coming soon, and we're very excited about, thanks to the work of this subcommittee, are what we're calling our baseball cards. So you will be able to access essentially a one-pager summarizing all of the data for each member of Congress that's in the scorecard. We generally recommend looking at those about 5 minutes before your meeting, just as a refresher and making sure that you're good to go on your tracking points for your meetings. So with that, I guess, does anyone else have questions? Well, we are very excited to share this with all of you. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, to me, to Andrea. We'll get you in touch with Jess and Amanda and Brittany. But thanks for your support for the scorecard, and we look forward to continually improving it every year. Have a great Advocacy Day.